Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the vlog. This is Kevin with Nighthawk Motors, and well, today it's very cold out. It's about 9 degrees, as you can see, and it is just about noon. It's right before noon. So this is probably gonna be the high for the day. It might get up to 10 degrees. It's gonna go down to 0 tonight. For the longest time, I haven't remembered it ever being this cold. So this is kind of crazy. And there is a fountain over there. That's a whole fountain with a small pond. You see the water shooting out of there? It's pretty far away. You might not be able to see that. I'll have to zoom in on it for you. But there's a fountain over there. It has like a glacier built up around it, and there's still water spurting out. They really should have shut off that pump over there. I'm surprised that thing's still working. I guess just since the water's moving, it's not going to freeze until it stops. But yeah, it's just the beginning of the vlog. I'm going to do some fun stuff today. Get some videos cranking out for you guys, and yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy the content. That's your throttle. Wow. You look at this. This is like a frozen lake. Look at that. That's freaking awesome. Frozen lake. That looks great. Yeah, so today I'm going to be demonstrating how to use drive modes on your car to optimize your traction based on the conditions out. Now, in conditions like this, where there's a bunch of snow on the ground, possibly ice, and you're coming up to stops and whatnot, I'll show you the best way to get traction out of this. There's so many different ways you can do it, from tires to, you know, cars are four-wheel drive, to, I don't know, putting kitty litter underneath your tires if you're stuck, stuff like that. But this one's more of the one of the first steps you would want to do. If you see snow, this is the first thing you'd absolutely want to do, and that would be pushing your Eco button on your car. Now, Honda Accords and Hondas come with the Eco button. Some other cars might come with a comfort drive, like that Mercedes-Benz I reviewed. That has a comfort drive, which is essentially the same thing as an Eco button, except they have more systems attached to it. It's not just for the throttle control. It's for all systems like suspension, transmission, and all that. Whereas I believe for the Honda Accord, the Eco mode might mess with the transmission a bit, but I know for a fact that it changes the throttle mapping on the car. And that's what gives you your pedal input that goes to the electronic throttle body on all new cars. So I'm going to go up here and find a spot where I can demonstrate this and hopefully not get stuck. If I get stuck, then that's going to suck. Alright, so I found a little patch of snow that I can demonstrate this in. I'm not going to put a camera on the outside. It's too cold, and to be quite honest, it's really windy out and might get knocked over, and I don't want that. So right now, we're in park, and there's two things you can keep in mind when it's snowing out. You want the right tires. I have all seasons, the ones that came on the car, and this is a Honda Accord Sport Special Edition. So it has a Cvt transmission in it, which is actually really good in the snow. Because there are no gears that have to shift. It's just a constant upshift of the transmission. It's constantly upshifting with a belt, essentially. It's a metal belt, and there's no gears, no set ratio, and there's no herky-jerky shifts, which will help break traction. It's just a smooth, consistent transmission, and that's why it is so good in snowy weather, is because it's so smooth. And that's another reason why snowmobiles use it, is because it's so smooth. It helps you keep nice positive traction without having these real herky-jerky shifts that normal transmissions have. And snowmobiles also have them because it's simple and reliable. Now, right now, I'm going to go ahead and take my car and throw it in Eco mode. So you see it's in Eco mode right now. This is the best way to get traction when you're driving. And also, if you get stuck, sometimes you'll have traction control kicking on, like a lot, and you'd want to turn that off so you could try to get some momentum going. And that would just be here. If you don't know, I'm sure everybody knows this. So your traction control system's off. We're going to keep it on for this test just because I want to give everybody a idea of what you should do in normal conditions in the snow. And whenever you're in the snow, always put your car into some kind of eco mode or something like that, because it just makes it that much smoother and it lets you keep traction that much easier without having to really scrutinize your throttle inputs. So we're going to drive over the snow here with eco mode. I know it's kind of a bad time to do this. It's not real fresh snow, but the idea is you get a nice smooth start instead of something where you try to start and it just spins like that. That's the idea, is it's very smooth, a smooth start, so you can get out of wherever you're stuck, or you won't get stuck in the first place. So I'm gonna make a left out of here. We're good, nobody's coming. See, got out of that little bit of snow, went right through it with no problem. And this stuff is pretty tightly packed snow. It's not too slushy, so this stuff isn't the best snow to be driving in. Luckily, PA does an awesome job of clearing the roads. I wish there was more snow around right now on the roads to demonstrate this. I'm gonna go out and try to find a big parking lot that maybe wasn't plowed, because that up there, it was just a small little field that had some pretty deep snow in it, and I probably would get stuck in it if I tried to go any further into it. So we're gonna get driving here, and well, actually we're already driving, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to find some more stuff for everybody. Hey look, we're driving by the frozen lake again. That is freaking awesome. I love the way that looks. This is one awesome thing about wintertime, is when it does snow, the landscape just looks so awesome. You gotta just really enjoy it while you look at that. That is awesome. Look at that freaking frozen lake. Wow. You really have to enjoy wintertime, because the cold weather, let's be honest, cold weather sucks. But when you get a nice snowfall and the roads are paved, you go out for a nice little drive, it's kind of rewarding. It actually really is rewarding. Okay, so the roads are finally starting to take a beating down here from all the cold weather. So what happens is you get water underneath the road surface, permeates the first layer, and then once it freezes, and the freeze is deep enough, that water turns to ice. And as we know, when water turns to ice, it expands and essentially is in the fabric of the road surface and pushes the road surface up. But then that's why you always see chunks falling off and people start driving over it, and it's not good. That's why potholes happen. It's just because essentially water turns to ice inside the road and pushes it up and breaks it. Frozen Creek to your right. Okay, so as you guys can see, I was able to find a row with some snow coverage. So that's definitely a good thing. We can try this out a little more, and maybe we'll go up here and try to find a spot I can set up a tripod at and get you guys some exterior shots as well. So let's test this out. There's a little bit of an incline here, and eco mode is off. So, all right, so that was probably a 1/4 inch of throttle right there, and I'm slipping off the line. So let's try the same thing with the eco mode. Yeah, still getting a little slippage. Definitely not as much though, and you can definitely control your throttle a lot better this way, because the curve is just so different on it, on the throttle mapping on this, as I keep saying. The way they can do that, if you guys don't know this already, I'm just going to explain it to you. I'm sure most people know, but the majority of new cars, unless they're very cheap, come with electronic throttle bodies now, and that has to do with all this. It basically allows the computers in the car to have more control over the car, to keep people from having issues and damaging parts. Not really so much damaging parts, but it keeps them. It lets the computer have more control over the car, so you can get better gas mileage, fuel economy, and not waste as much gas. Essentially, I'm thinking that's the main purpose behind electronic throttle bodies. But you can also use it to give you different throttle mappings, like this eco mode I'm in. That's a benefit to it. Or you can make it so it's easier to drive for comfort mode. Like Mercedes and BMW do this a lot. They'll have a curve on their throttle mapping to make it easier to drive during a commute. Or you can also put it in sport mode, which will give it basically no curve on the throttle mapping, and it'll just have instant throttle response. And that's another thing that this electronic throttle bodies do, is it changes throttle response. So if you sit there and like jab your throttle, it puts a small latency time in there before the throttle body actually responds. Whereas if it was a cable driven throttle body, it would just be instantaneously, power whenever you want it and things like that. That's why a lot of race cars are cable driven still, just because there's no point in having that extra weight and potential issues with a electronic throttle body. Let's see how this car stops in the snow. Pretty good. When you hit off ABS like that, you actually get less traction, because the tires are breaking traction and gaining traction and breaking traction. That's how ABS works. It keeps you from just having broken traction the whole time. You're better off modulating your brakes to just before the traction brake time, so you get the best traction possible. Just like, if you're flooring your car, traction control is bumping on and off, it's going to go slower than if you're able to reduce the throttle and get it to hook up. It's the same principle, except you're stopping instead of accelerating. But yeah, I think that basically gets my point across. When you're in snowy conditions and inclement weather like we had this week, always put your car into either comfort or eco mode, and it will benefit you greatly. You'll keep traction, you won't get stuck as easily, and if you do get stuck, don't forget about the traction control button. That might help you get out of the rut you're in snowy conditions like this. Or even if you get stuck in mud or something like that, if you have a truck or something, don't forget to turn traction control off, because a lot of times those systems will hinder you from getting free if you are in fact stuck. Now, the whole point of traction control is, well, it's basically a stability control program that'll keep you from wrecking your car when you're going at speed, and you overcook a corner, or there's like an icy patch in the road or something like that. It'll help keep the car running straight to the road instead of having the back end kick out, or the front end, if it's a front wheel drive car, understeer on you and understeer into some kind of object or off the road. So it is a good idea to keep traction control on, unless you really know what you're doing for normal driving conditions. But hope you guys enjoyed that little information about snowy driving conditions and everything. And I'm going to make a video about how to drive in the snow, because it seems like a lot of people, they don't know how to drive in the snow. I'll probably actually shoot that one right now, because as I explained in an earlier video, during the wintertime, it's very hard to shoot film. It gets so dark out so fast, and if you have a normal 9-to-5 job, it's just, you got to do all your filming on the weekend. So if you guys would, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you next video. Thank you very much.